as she says she does, as I do genuinely care about women, that care should begin at the moment of conception. I want equal rights for all women. I want to ensure that women who are in crisis pregnancy are supported and given that help. A quick fix abortion destroys women and leads to long-term consequences. Obviously, Kate has no interest as to whether or not women are supported. She just wants them to have a choice to destroy their living, growing human toddler child. You want abortion. When you have abortion, you can. Exactly. And why I'm saying that is because that's what it leads to. It leads to the destruction of the... when we look at how abortion affects society, it can affect... If a woman has an abortion, why could she not kill her 2-year-old? Why could she not kill her toddler?
Over and over
well,
again.
you haven't explained. I haven't got it.
Well, okay, yeah, I'm afraid, Bernadette, I've explained it so many times that at this point I'm not going to explain it to you anymore. I'm just going to conclude that you're not that bright. Okay, let me answer 2 more points. Firstly, she says women should be informed. So, and yet her organisation hands out propaganda, lies, misleading information, absolute nonsense.
Scientific, factual information.
No, I mean actually,
Royal
people
College
can
of
look it up.
Psychiatrists had said abortion hurts women.
People can look it up. Your publications, they're online, and they say all sorts of obnoxious things. They say condoms don't work. They say all sorts of lies and just horrible things that are really dangerous to say. So yes, women should be informed, but they shouldn't be informed by you, Bernadette. They should be informed by proper scientists, proper medical professionals. Secondly,
well, I think I've been very successful in protecting many women from the horror of abortion by providing them with all the support, scientific facts,
by trying to scare them,
by helping those women
standing outside clinics screaming
and giving them
in their
information.
faces.
Who screams?
Yeah, you do.
And
you defended doing so on the Stephen Nolan show. You admitted it. You said you didn't consider it abuse.
You said
you were helping people
to help women.
Yeah, and when he asked what you thought about somebody opening a car door and screaming into a woman's face, you said that you would not.
What evidence have you got? Anybody screams?
You would not say that that was wrong.
You said
you would not consider that abuse. I've seen it on the Stephen Nolan show. Let me finish my other point. No, the other thing is, first of all, when you talk about women who regret abortion, of course, people do all sorts of things in their lives. Some people probably regret having children. They're probably too polite to say so when their kids are in the room. But nonetheless, our research that we've done, research that has been published by statistical bodies, research by the organisations that look at psychology, say that 80% of women, the number one feeling they have after abortion is relief. That was certainly my experience. It's a very normal experience. Of course, those are not the people who come to talk to you. One of the reasons, however, when we meet people who have had an abortion and then had it's been a negative experience for them, perhaps they've had regret, there are 2 things that I see happen when I have met lots of women like that, and I see 2 things. Firstly, I see women for whom it wasn't really a choice. I see women who were pushed into having an abortion, and that definitely does happen. A relationship breaks down. He's very angry. He doesn't want to. And of course, I'd be absolutely against anybody forcing a woman to make a choice that she doesn't want to make. But secondly, when I meet women who've had an abortion and come to regret it, very often what's happened, in fact, is that they've had an abortion and then they've run into organisations like yours who've told them that they're awful and they're bad people and that they've killed and that they're murderers. And that is what gets into them. It's not them feeling bad. It's you deliberately making them feel bad. And I think that's horrible. I don't know how you live with yourself.
Well, what happens in an abortion? Yeah, what happens in an abortion then? You tell me what happens to the unborn child. What do we do?
The same way it is during a miscarriage.
And what is it we expel?
You want to describe?
What do we expel?
The fetus.
And what is a fetus?
And the lining of the womb.
What is a fetus?
It's a fetus. That's what the word means. It means a fetus.
What is a fetus?
Well, it depends at what stage of the birth, what's in there. But
so
at the same time,
when does it become human?
Exactly the same thing that you lose with a miscarriage. Describe a miscarriage.
When a miscarriage is a natural expulsion of a human life. It's nature.
Right, well, if you take early term abortion medication, you will miscarry pretty damn naturally. So,
you will force a child to be exposed from
exactly the same procedure. Exactly the same thing will happen.
And
exactly the same thing will happen.
And we make that decision through a chemical intervention in, for example,
right. And how would you distinguish between that and a woman who?
But you failed to answer my question. What is it we're destroying? What is it we are destroying in the womb?
It's a fetus.
And what is a fetus? A fetus is a human being. It's part of the human development of life.
No. We've already had this conversation. We're back to this where did life begin.
Yeah.
Okay, I know.
But you can't answer that.
I have answered it, Bernadette. I've answered it over and over and over again. And you want to know what a life is? I'll tell you what a life is. A life is nothing if you don't have control over your own body. Do you want to be a life or do you want to be a forced incubator? You keep talking about being about life and all this kind of stuff, but actually what you're about is forcing women who don't want to.
You're about forcing women to have abortions.
No, I'm not about forcing women. No, I'm about giving women choice.
You don't give them a choice. pro-choice, because many women who have had abortions are not being informed of the consequences of abortion.
True. Yeah. That's not true.
Can I just
Every organisation I've ever worked for, and I've actively campaigned against people being pressured to have abortions when they don't want them. I'm about choice.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to break in. I try not to raise my voice. Just to say we're in the last 5 minutes. We never quite know how these studio debates will develop. I want to ask a question which is current in the news at the moment, and that is, we were talking about informing the choice. There is a debate in government at the moment over should a doctor actually be there to be consulted. As in the Abortion Act, it says that they should meet the patient face to face. Do you think that is required or not?
I think, as I may have sort of emphasised earlier, I think that women are intelligent, rational human beings, and there will be some women who are faced with crisis pregnancy who want to talk to their partner. There'll be some women who want to talk to their priest, and there'll be some women who want to talk to their teacher, and there'll be some women who want to talk to their best mate, and some people who want to talk to all of those things. And I would think it would be absolutely normal and completely unsurprising for women to want to go and talk to a doctor, and they absolutely...
Should it be in law to protect such vulnerable people, people who actually are in a point of sort of turmoil? Should they be protected?
I think that anybody who wants a doctor's appointment for any reason should be able to get one for free, Tim. I think that should be enshrined in law. I think doctor's appointments should be free and available to anyone who wants one for whatever reason, even if it's just because your fingernail hurts and it's stressing you out. I think that we should have a national health service that is truly national and therefore provides the same services to women in Northern Ireland that it does in the rest of the UK.
See, the whole point about the law is really not to protect people who are completely in charge of all their decision making.
Oh, you're talking about these silly women?
No, just protecting anyone, you know, and of course laws have to cover the extremes.
So let me get straight. Are you talking about? Are you talking about medical consultation, or are you talking about compulsory counselling?
No, I'm talking about a consultation that the doctor's required to do before signing a form for abortion.
Are you talking about two doctors' signatures? I don't even know.
Yeah, or even one. The Abortion Act is slightly nebulous, but it does certainly say that a doctor must meet before authorising. Well, and it's the doctor who authorises.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think that anyone should have any medical treatment done to them without checking with a doctor. To be honest, if you're going to take up vigorous exercise, you should check with a doctor. I mean, that said, there are certainly parts of the world where abortion is illegal, and as such, you've got a lot of dangerous backstreet abortions going on. And there are certainly, you know, improvements to women's lives that can be made by making abortion easier to access and putting hurdles and obstacles in the way. And certainly in countries where it costs a lot of money to see a doctor, I can quite understand how there are women who would like to circumvent that. But I think that a doctor's appointment should be standard and free to anyone who wants one.
I'm going to ask the same question, as it's a current issue. What's your view about this? About the need for a doctor to consult, because they're talking about, you know, under Andrew Lansley's sort of amendments, that maybe nurses could make that decision.
I think it's vitally important that every woman has an appointment with a doctor who genuinely cares for both his patients. In every pregnancy there's two patients, so it's vitally important that an obstetrician, gynecologist is involved in every case. And bearing in mind over the last year in particular, where figures have been released in the UK, where there's 200,000 abortions every year, there's only been one abortion performed to save the life of the mother. And I think that it is vitally important that doctors are involved, but the proper doctors who genuinely care for both patients.
I get what you're talking about, Tim. You're talking about nurses prescribing early-term abortifacients to women who think they might be pregnant very early on, in the same way that you can go to the pharmacy and buy a morning after pill. And the simple answer is that those medications are incredibly safe. Those medications, some of the safest medications that are out there.
In terms of the psychological aspects, to make a judgment psychologically. I think I've read somewhere. We're pretty well out of time.
There are two things I have to say on that.
They're not safe.
Because 185,000...
Firstly, let's not feed into this nonsense. Some people
are for mental health grounds. 185 are authorised. Yeah, but I've said very little. I'm just making that point.
I was enjoying that, though. Okay, so first of all, when we're I don't like this idea that we assume that abortion equals what about the mental health consequences. The fact is, if women feel worried, they can consult. Secondly, compulsory counselling. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody. It's pointless.
Thank you. We'll pick it up after the break. Howard's going to be in the control room for the second hour. Thank you for joining us for this studio debate. Please remember the Twitter feed, #AbortionDebate, and I hope you've been responding to the items on the screen for the telephone number, for the Facebook emails and text. So I want to say thank you to Kate and to Bernadette. We'll have a live interaction from the audience in the second hour, and then there will be an opportunity to sum up. So I'm not completely chopping you, but we'll give the audience and our viewers the first opportunity after the break. Howard will be in the control room. Thank you very much for joining us.